Record. So it is recording now. Okay. So let's see where we are.
Dr. Bazzi, where do we go to get the recording?
Oh, I'll send you the link.
Okay, thank you.
I will send you the link. Since you already provided your email address, so I should be able to send you the link. So guys, we're doing this question here. So we got 2x on the outside, and then we got x squared, and then we got plus 2x, and then we got minus 15. And what I was asking, what can we factor the trinomial? Let's try. Here's how I would factor the trinomial. I'll put an x here and an x there. When it starts with x squared, there's a very easy way to factor it. You ask yourself this question: what are the two numbers? If I multiply them, I get negative 15, and if I add them, I get a positive 2. Can someone tell me what the two numbers are?
-5 and +3.
The other way. So you're close.
Oh,
Positive 5 and minus 3, and that's 2x. So that's how you factor this one. Let's pick another one. Let me just take 11. First of all, let's check if they have any common factors. So I have x, and y everywhere. So I'm going to take xy as a common factor. And then I got 36, I got 72, and I got 32. So what do you guys think, what number that 32, 72, and 36 will go into? 4 would work. So let's try 4. And 36 divided by 4 is 9. And then you already have xy on the outside, so what's left? X squared. And then 72x squared y. xy is already on the outside, so that's 18x. And then 32 xy is already on the outside, and 32 divided by 4 is 8. Now the question, guys, can you factor this? That's what we need to answer. If you can factor it, you're done. But if you can factor it, then you should factor it. What do you guys think? Is it possible to factor 9x squared plus 18x plus 8? Any ideas? Let's try. You have 4xy on the outside. Okay. When it's not 1x squared, it's ax squared, I could do a trial and error, guys, and try to figure this out. So split up the 9x squared. I could split it up to 3x and 3x. And two numbers, their product is 8, because I have to have the two numbers toward the end to give me a product of 8. I'm going to try 4 and 2 and see if it works. I mean, you could try 8 and 1, but 8 and 1 probably is not going to work. So let's see if this worked. 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3x times 2 is 6x. And 4 times 3x is 12x. 6x plus 12x is 18x. That's what I want, and that's the answer. So this is called the trial and error. Okay, let's go to 13 to 18. These are special factorization. Like, for example, if you take 13, guys, this is a difference between two squares. You need to know the formula that a squared minus b squared equals a minus b, and then a plus b. Okay, what would be a and for 49x squared? So a will be 7x. And what would be b for 81? 81 is the square of 9. So your answer for 13 will be 7x minus 9 and then 7x plus 9. Now, if I take 15, it doesn't look like there's a difference between two squares. So probably there is a GCF that I can take out. So let me see if I can take out a GCF here. I could take out, guys, a. So what's left? 16a squared minus 25. And now you agree with me that 16a squared minus 25 is a difference between two squares. So I get a 4a minus 5 and then 4a plus 5. And that would be the factorization. Now for the remaining ones, guys, these are the sum of two cubes and the difference of two cubes. For example, 16, don't know if you know the formula, that looks like a difference between two cubes, a cube minus b cube, and here is the formula. A cube minus b cubed equals a plus b and then a squared no, sorry, it's a minus b. So there are two formula, a squared, I think it's a plus ab and plus b squared. So that would be the form, and there is a formula for a cube minus a cube plus b cube as well. So try not just to memorize those two formulas if you need to use them. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next. Use factoring to solve each polynomial. Now he's gonna give you an equation and he's gonna ask you to solve it. So let's pick one of those. Which one shall we pick? Let's pick 22. Okay, in order to solve an equation, you have to have one side equal to 0 so you can factor the other side. So what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna move everything to one side. So let me move the negative to this side. So I'll get 4x squared minus 2x. And then the negative 4x squared, if moved to the other side, will be plus 4x squared. Remember, when you move one thing to the other side, just change its sign. And negative 18x will become plus 18x equal to 0. 4x squared plus 4x squared is 8x squared. And 18x minus 2x, oh, it turns out to be easy here. So plus 16x equal to 0. Okay, guys, I think we can factor this out. It's two terms only. I could take 4x out as a common factor. And then you get 2x plus 8. Oh, I could have taken 8 out. Anyway, it's okay. Equal to 0. Okay, so 4x, you set 4x equal to 0. That will give you x equal to 0.
It'd be 4, 4, because isn't 4 times 4, 16? 16x. You put an 8.
Oh, sorry. You're absolutely correct. Thanks for noticing. So 4x is 0, then x is 0, and then 2x plus 4 equal to 0, guys. That will give you x equals -2. So this equation has two solutions. If you try to do 23, guys, you learned in intermediate algebra only how to solve a quadratic equation. Don't expect that you're going to be have a formula for a cubic. So you should be sure that there's going to be a way to factor this out. And notice, guys, like for 23, I could take y out as a common factor, and look what's left. Y squared plus 20y and then plus 100. So let me just clear everything here. Just go this. So you take y out, and you guys get y squared. See, it's a quadratic now, plus, because that's what you learn in intermediate algebra. 20y, and then plus 100, equal to 0. Okay, so you set this equal to 0. Now you need to factor the second one. Let's factor it together and see if we can come up with the factor. That should be easy. When it is a 1y square or 1x square, it should be very easy. Ask yourself, two numbers, their product is 100 and their sum is 20. Well, the only two numbers, guys, are 10 and 10. And don't forget about the y also, equal to 0. So now y equal to 0, that's one solution. And y plus 10 equal to 0, guys, that will give you y equals negative 10. So this equation has two solutions, 0 and negative 10. All right, 25, word problem. An object is thrown upward from the top of 160-foot building with an initial velocity of 48 feet per second. The height h of the object after t seconds is given by the quadratic equation. H equals negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 160. This is a very common problem, guys. You might see something like that. When will the object hit the ground? Any ideas, guys? This is an equation. You're going to solve it somehow, but what does it mean for the object to hit the ground? What would be the height of the object when it hits the ground?
0.
Yep, it is 0. So you just set this equation equal to 0. So you're going to make negative 16. If you didn't know that, you wouldn't be able to solve it. You need to know that hitting the ground means a height of 0. Just remember that, guys. Plus 160 equal to 0. All right, let's try to solve this one. I think we can take negative 16 out as a common factor. So I'm going to take negative 16 out. That's a t squared. And 48 divided by negative 16, guys, will be negative 3 t. And 160 divided by negative 16 is negative 10, equal to 0. You see, they'll give you something that's easy to factor. Okay, now we need to factor the t squared minus 3t minus 2. That should not be hard. So you just put a t here and a t there, equal to 0. And ask yourself the question, the magic question. What are the two numbers? If I multiply them, I get negative 10. And if I add them, I get negative 3. So do you guys agree there must be negative 5 and what? Positive 2. So if you solve this one, you get t equals 5. And then you get t equals negative 2. Okay, one of the answers is not acceptable. Which one? You can't have two answers for the time. Well, time can't be negative, so this is rejected. And it takes 5 seconds for the object to hit the ground. So t is 5. Any questions? All right. Let me clear here. And let's go move on. All right. Reducing rational expressions. It's just when you reduce rational expression, guys, you have to factor the top and the bottom. So let's look, for example, at 27. Okay. Okay, so let's factor the top in order to do that. So you can take 2 out as a common factor. That's all I can do. 2x plus 1. What about the bottom, guys? I could take, first of all, 2 out as a common factor. So that will give me 10x squared plus 11x plus 3. Okay. We need to factor this. I'm going to do it by trial and error, guys. So I'm going to split the 10 into 2, 5. So 2x and 5x. And look, because you have 2x plus 1, let's give it a shot and put 2x plus 1 here and put the 3 there and see if it works. And let's see, 2x times 5x is 10x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x. 1 times 5x, 5x plus 6x, 11x. It worked. And now we can cancel out the common factor. Watch. 2x plus 1 and 2x plus 1 cancels out. 2 and 2 cancels out. So what's left? If there is nothing left at the top, it doesn't mean 0. It means 1 over 5x plus 3. And that would be the answer. All right. Let's go to number 30 now. Multiplying rational expression. It's all about factoring, guys. I mean, the key topic in intermediate algebra is all about factoring. In order to solve this one, you need to factor the top, factor the bottom, and reduce. So let's do this. X squared plus 8x plus 12. Ask yourself this question. What are the two numbers? If I multiply them, I get 12, and if I add them, I get 8. And the only two numbers that will give you this are 6 and what? And 2. Let's go to x squared plus 4x. How do you factor this? Just take the GCF out, which is x, and then you get x plus 4. Now let's go to the bottom. X squared plus 10x plus 24. Same thing, guys. Ask yourself this question. Two numbers, their product is 24 and their sum is 10. They're 6 and 4. And then x squared minus 3x minus 10. Let's see. Two numbers. Their product is negative 10 and their sum is negative 3. I think we did it earlier. So it's negative 5 and positive 2. And once you do this, guys, you're ready to cancel out stuff. So let's see. X plus 6, x plus 6, x plus 4, x plus 4, x plus 2, x plus 2. So what's left? X over x minus 5. Any questions? All right. For 31 division, guys, just flip the division, make it multiplication, and do the factorization. Okay, I'm gonna do 32 now because it's not multiplication division, it's subtraction. So let me just clear here. 32. When you subtract rational or add rational expression, you make sure that they have the same denominator. Luckily here they do have the same denominator, so I just simply subtract. So I get x squared minus 16x plus 63. And then you just subtract the numerators, guys. 3x minus 8 minus, remember the minus is applied to 2x plus 1. So it's going to be a minus 2x and minus 1. A mistake that students do, they put negative 2x plus 1. The minus should be applied to the whole numerator. So this is going to be 3x minus 2x is x, minus 8 minus 1 is minus 9 over. Can we factor x squared minus 16x plus 63? Let's see if we can factor it. If we can, we might be able to cancel this a little bit more. Okay, two numbers, their product is 63 and their sum is negative 16. Can you guys tell me what the numbers are?
9 and 7.
Yep. I agree. And negative 9, x minus 9 cancel out. So you guys get 1 over x minus 7 as the final answer. All right, let's move on. Okay. Here. Let's see if we take, guys, for example, 33. They don't have the same denominator, so we got to make it look like they have the same denominator. So this is what you can do. 5 over x plus 7 minus 5 over factor 9x plus 63. So that will give me, guys, 9 times x plus 7. Okay. The only way to subtract or add fractions, guys, if they have the same denominator, they still don't. But what would be the common denominator for both of them will be 9 times x plus 7. So look what I'm going to do, guys, here. I'm just going to multiply this one by 9. But whatever you do at the bottom, you got to do at the top. And now I have the same denominator, so feel free to subtract the numerators. 9 times 5 is 45. Minus 5 is 39 over 9 x plus 7. All right, so that would be the answer. Complex fractions. How would you simplify? Yes. Any questions?
Yeah. Is that a 9 times 5 or is that a 9?
No, 9 times 5.
Yeah, so that'd be 40, right?
Yeah, 40, oh, 40, sorry.
I thought 8 times 5 was 40. 9 times 5
No,
is
9
40.
times 5 is 45, but minus 5.
Oh, yeah, it's 40. Yeah, you're right.
It's 40. You're correct. So it's 40 over 9 quantity x plus 7. All right, complex fractions. Simplify the complex fraction. The best way, guys, to simplify a complex fraction is to figure out the common denominator of all the denominators and multiply the top and the bottom by the denominator. So I see 4 over 1 here. I see an x, I see a 3, and I see a 6. I think 6x, guys, will do it for all. So look what you do. That will be the fastest and easiest way to take care of this. Plus 1 over 6. Okay, so let me change the color. You multiply by 6x here, and you multiply by 6x. And why 6x, guys? This is the common denominator. But when you multiply and divide by 6x, it's just like you did nothing. So that's, and now equals. 6x times 4 is 24x. Watch how we're going to get rid of the fractions now. 6x times 2 is 12x. Divided by x will be 12. Over. No more fractions at the top. 6x times x is 6x squared. Divided by 3 will be 3x squared. 6x times 1 is 6x. Divided by 6 is plus x. And now, guys, let's see if we can reduce this one a little bit. I'll try. I'm going to take 12 out. So that will give me 2x plus 1. And then I'm going to take x out. Oh, that's 2x squared here, guys. 6x times x, that's a 3. I don't know if I thought it was 2. 6x times x, 6x squared divided by 3 is 2x squared. So I'm going to take x out. Oh, it turns out to be nice. Watch what the answer is going to be. And let's change colors here. 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1. And your final answer, guys, is 12 over x. See, all that complicated fraction turns out to be 12 over x. All right, let's do solve a rational equation now. All right. Which one would you like me to do? Let me do 39. Okay, for 39, guys, before you solve a rational equation, you need to factor all denominators. So x squared plus 7x equal 12 will be -1 over, I think it's going to be x plus 4, x plus 3. And then x plus 3. All right. To solve a rational equation, guys, multiply both sides by the least common denominator. And the common denominator for the left and for the right will be x plus 4 times x plus 3. So you're going to multiply this side right here by x plus 4, x plus 3, and you're going to multiply the right-hand side by x plus 4, x plus 3. Okay, what will happen when we multiply both sides by x plus 4 and then x plus 3? X plus 4 times x plus 3 divided by x plus 4 for the first one, it will give me x plus 3. Plus 2 times x plus 4, guys, times x plus 3 divided by x plus 3 will give me x plus 4. Equals x plus 4. We're going to multiply now the right-hand side by x plus 4, x plus 3. Whatever you do on the left, you have to do on the right. So x plus 4 and x plus 4 cancels out. X plus 3 cancels out. You get -1. So it turns out to be a nice equation, guys. X plus 2x will be 3x. And 3 plus 8 will be 11. Equals -1. Move 11 to the other side, so it will be 3x equals -12. And then you get x equals -4. And if you guys, this was a multiple choice question and you select x equals -4 as your answer, you will get 0 for this. Can you tell me why? Although I got x equals -4, I didn't do anything wrong here. But actually, this equation has no solution, even if we got x equals -4. Can someone tell me why? Okay, let me tell you why.
Negative.
If you plug in the -4 in the denominator right here, let me just clear everything. If you could plug in -4 here, guys, what would you get? What's -4 plus 4? 0. You cannot have a 0 in the denominator. So when you have a rational equation, guys, and you are asked to solve it, you solve it, just follow what I did. You get an answer. Plug in the answer in the denominator and make sure that the denominator is not equal to 0 when you plug in this answer, because if it is a 0, then you say no solution. So no solution for this one. All right, let's see the next question. Okay, we're gonna do one of those. Let me solve for B here, just 42. 42. Okay, solve for B. First of all, to solve for B, guys, let's get rid of the 2. So to get rid of the 2, multiply both sides by 2. If you multiply both sides by 2, you get 2a equals h times the quantity A plus B. Now multiply on both sides, expand, so there will be HA plus HB. We need to solve for B, guys, so you need to isolate the B. So to isolate the B, let's get rid of HA. So subtract HA from both sides. So I get 2A minus HA equals HB. Can someone tell me what's the last step? One more step and we're done solving for B. What would you do now? Divide by what?
H.
Yep, that is correct. And H cancel it out. So B is 2A minus HA over H. Okay. As well, so 45. A painter can finish painting a house in 7 hours. Her assistant takes 9 hours to finish the same job. How long would it take for them to complete the job if they work together? Okay, here's how you set this up, guys. So for 45, you say let X be the time it takes to work together. It takes to get the job done working together. Okay, so the first painter can finish the work in 7 hours. So it takes the painter 7 hours to do the whole thing. What portion and what fraction of the work can the painter get done in 1 hour? It's 1 out of 7. So that's in 1 hour. If I give you a task, guys, and it takes you 4 hours to complete the task, if I tell you what portion of the task did you complete in 1 hour, you just tell me 1 over 4, 25%. And this is 1 over 7. The assistant takes 9 hours to finish the work. So what portion of the work can the assistant do in 1 hour? It's 1 over 9. Together, it takes them X hours to finish the work. So what portion of the work working together, they can get done in 1 hour? It's 1 over X. So this is together equals the painter plus the assistant, and that's the equation that you need to set up. So it will be 1 over 7 plus 1 over 9 equals 1 over X. If you find the common denominator, guys, it will be 63. So if you multiply this by 9 and times 9, and multiply this by 7 and times 7, so you get 9 plus 7 is 16 over 63 equals 1 over X. And if you want to solve this one, you can do a cross multiplication. 16X equals 63. So X, guys, will be 63 divided by 16. And if you want to figure this out as a decimal, how much time? Definitely it's going to take him less time working together, less than 7 and less than 9. It's 3.93794 hours. And that's how you do 45. Any questions here? All right. 48, write an equation of each line described below. You have a slope which is negative 2 over 3 and passing through the point 2, 3. So 48, slope which is negative 2 over 3, and it passes through the point 2, 3. Okay, there are 2 ways, guys, to write an equation of the line. You can write it as y equals mx plus b. That's what I prefer. And just put m, which is negative 2 over 3x. Negative 2 over 3x plus b, but we still need to find b. Well, to find b, guys, he gave you a point. Just plug in x equals 2 and y equals 3 in the equation to find b. So we're going to make 3 equals negative 2 over 3 times x, which is 2 plus b. 3 equals negative 4 over 3 plus b. Well, to find b, guys, just add 4 over 3 to both sides. So you will get b equals 3 plus 4 over 3. You can use calculator or just add them up. So that will be 9 plus 4, 13 over 3. And your equation will be, he said he wants it in slope-intercept form. This is the slope-intercept form. So that's why I prefer to use this form of an equation. So y equals negative 2 over 3x plus 13 over 3. The other equation, guys, you could have used is this: y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. M is negative 2 over 3. X1 is 2. Y1 is 3. But you still have to solve for y once you're done, because he wants that in slope-intercept form. Any questions? Okay. 49. Passing through 2 points. Well, passing through 2 points, guys, you have to find the slope first of all. So what's the slope? There's a formula for the slope, which is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So y2, I could use 5 minus negative 3 and divided by 0 minus negative 7. And that's 8 divided by 7. And now, guys, you can write the equation as y minus y1 if you wish, mx minus x1. Now, if you ask me which points do I use to plug in y1 and x1, it's up to you, guys. You can use this one or that one, but I would use 0, 5. It's easier. So that will be y minus 5 equals 8 over 7x minus 0. And y minus 5 equals 8 over 7x. Now he says he wants the equation in standard form. Let me tell you what we mean by standard form. Standard form means you have to have the x and y on one side and the number on the other side. So if I move the 8 over 7x to this side, it will be y minus 8 over 7x equals 5. And also standard form, guys, you should not have a fraction. So to make this equation look nicer, I mean, this is a correct answer and your teacher might accept it, but to make it better answer, easier answer without fraction, multiply both sides by 7 to get rid of the fraction. So you get 7y minus 8x equals 35. Find the equation of the line who has undefined slope. If the slope is undefined, it's a vertical line equation and it's an x equals, guys. So you just put x equals, and which one is the x here? The 2 is the x and the y is negative 3. Just put x equals 2. 52. Write the equation of the line that passes through the point 6, 10 and parallel to 8x plus 7, 10, the y equals 90. In order to write an equation of a line, you need a point and a slope. But since he tell you that your line is parallel to another line, you can easily find the slope, because if two lines are parallel, they have the same slope. So to find the slope of this line, just solve for y. So you get 7y equals negative 8x plus 90. Divide both sides by 7. So you get y equals negative 8 over 7x plus 90 over 7. So the slope, guys, is negative 8 over 7. So doing 52. M is negative 8 over 7. And I got a point, which is 610. And the equation of the line will be y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So y minus 10 equals negative 8 over 7, x minus 6. And just expand it a little. Y minus 10 equals negative 8x over 7. And negative times negative is positive. Positive 48 over 7. And he wants that in slope-intercept form. That means he wants it as y equals. So just add 10 to both sides. And if you add 10 to both sides, you will get finally y equals negative 8x over 7 plus. To add these fractions, you can use your calculator, but it's going to be 118 over 7. That would be the equation. Any questions, guys, so far? All right. What about 55? Write the equation of the line graphed below in slope-intercept form. Okay, well, he gives you 2 points. So he give you the hint, guys, that you have to pick up the 2 points. The first point is this. You have to be able to read it. So what would that be? Negative 6 if you agree with me. And for this one, guys, that would be what? Negative 3, 1, 2, 3, negative 3. And now you have the 2 points. You just do exactly like we did in number 49. You find the slope and then you write the equation. Determine whether a relation is a function. This is number 56. Okay, here's a hint, guys. If you have a y equals, it's always a function. But if you have a y raised to an even power, it's never a function. So x equals 4y squared is not a function. If he gives you something like that on the test, y cubed equals 7x, guys, and he asks you, is this a function or not? You say, yes, it is a function because that's odd power. Unless if the y has an even power, then it will not be a function. Okay. 57, find the domain and the range. The domain are the x values and the range are the y values. So if you want to write the domain, guys, here it will be -2, -1, -3. You don't repeat -3. The range will be 8, -7, -9, and -1. Okay. He wants a domain and range and the following equation. Let's take 59, guys. Okay, it looks like this. So we can see what we're doing here. Okay, what do you think the domain of this function? It seems like it expands over the entire x-axis. If it does, then the domain will be all real numbers. All reals. What about the range? Can someone tell me what the range is? It doesn't, the range are the values of the function on the y-axis, this way. It doesn't seem like it covers the entire y-axis. I think it starts at 0. And what's the highest value that the y can take, guys?
Is that 5?
Yep.
Okay.
0 to 5. Okay, let's go to this one, 60. What do you guys think, the domain and the range? It looks to me like the domain is covered by the entire x-axis. Look, everywhere. Even here, there's an open circle, but it's a gradient circle here. So it covers the entire x-axis. So domain will be all reals. But what about the range, guys? The range are the y values. Any ideas? Remember, this point is not included here. So I need y values. It starts here, which is at -1, but doesn't include the -1. And so it's from -infinity to -1. Not including -1. When you write an interval notation, guys, you have to start with the lower number first and then the larger number. what would be the domain and range for 61, for example? The domain will be Alice, Brad, and Carl, and the range will be cat, dog. That's the input, and that's the output. Okay, given the following function, find the indicated value. So I'm just going to do one of them, 62. H of -1, guys, you just plug in x with -1. So it will be -1 squared minus 2 times -1 minus 3. And that should give you a 1 plus 2, 3 minus 3 is 0. H of 0, just plug in x equals 0. So it will be 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 3, which is -3. H of -4, plug in x equals -4. That would be 16 plus 8. 24 minus 3 is 21. All right. Graphing linear function. Linear functions are just equations of lines, guys. So graphing f of x equals 4x minus 5 is the same thing as graphing y equals 4x minus 5. You just need 2 points. Put x equals 0. That will give me -5. Put x equals 1. That will give me 4 minus 5 is -1. 1, -1. And that's the equation. That's the graph of the line. All right. Now simplifying radicals. From 68 to 71, let me pick 71. Okay. That's a fourth root, guys. So the fourth root, to get numbers out of the radical, you have to ask yourself, what would be multiply a number by itself 4 times to give me 16? The fourth root of 16, guys, you agree it's a 2. Because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 will give you 16. X to the fourth, it's x, because x times x times x will give you x to the fourth. And y12, this is what I tell students to figure the fourth root of y12. Just divide 12 by 4. And if you divide 12 by 4, it will be 3. So that will be y to the third. Okay. Evaluate radical functions. So if you plug in 72, this is a cubic root of 6 plus 21, which is a cubic root of 27. And cubic root of 27, guys, is 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 29. Okay, let's go to 73 to 76. I'm going to pick, for example, 75. And let me tell you what -27 raised to the power 4 over 3 means. You need to know this. A raised to the power of m over n equals nth root of a to the m. So -27, guys, raised to the power of 4 over 3 means 3 on the outside and -27 raised to the power of 4. And which is, guys, cubic root of negative will go away. So you get 27 times 27 times 27 times 27. Well, we already know what's the cubic root of 27. The cubic root of 27 is 3. So your answer will be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, because each one will come out as a 3, which is 81. Okay, use property for exponents to simplify. These are the properties that you need to know of. A to the m times a to the n, it's a to the m plus n. A to the m divided by a to the n is a to the m minus n. And a to the m to the n, it's a to the mn. And also to change the negative exponent to a positive through this rule right here. A to the negative n is 1 over a to the n. So if you just do this, guys, you have z to the negative 2 over 7 times z to the 3 over 7. So this is just like that. So you add exponents. So it will be z to the negative 2 over 7 plus 3 over 7. Z of 1 over 7. All right. Simplifying radicals. Let's take 81. Square root of 96x squared y. Okay. We need the squares here because that's a square root. So look what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to change 96 to, what can you change 96 to, guys, to make it to work? 16 times 6, that's 96, and x squared, and then a y. Now, why did I split it up to 16 times 6? Because the 16 is a square. I can get it out. So the 16 comes out as 6. 4. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of x squared, guys, is x. So this is gone, and this is gone. What's left inside? There is nothing I can do with 6y. Just leave it inside the radical sign. Okay. Let's do a couple more here. Let me take 83. Actually, 83 turns out to be nice because square root of a divided by square root of b means square root of a over b. So you can put him under one square root. $90 divided by 10, guys, is 9. And x to the 7 divided by x to the first power would be 7 minus 1, which is x to the 6. Okay. Now square root, there is no index here, it means that 2. What's the square root of 9? It's a 3. And what's the square root of x? 6. As I told you guys, just take 6 and divide it by 2. That would be the answer. X to the third. 86. Just do one more. How do you do this? Okay, so let's simplify this. Okay, 15 is not divisible by 6, guys, so I have to make it divisible by 6. So I'm going to split it up to 12 and then 3. And same thing I'm going to do with the y15. I'm going to do it 12 and 3. Why 12 and 3? Because 12 is divisible by 6. So x to the 12, what's the sixth root of x to the 12? 12 divided by 6 is 2, so it will be x squared. y12 divided, that's y12, y2. And then what's left inside the radical, guys? x3, y3. Okay. Now, operation on radicals, guys. Let's do 89. Just distributive property, just the way you know it, guys. You know how to work with distributive properties. So that should give you 6. Square root of 3 times square root of 11 is square root of 33. So you need to know that square root of a times square root of b equals square root of ab. And square root of a divided by square root of b equals square root of a over b. These are the 2 rules that you need to know of. Now, 6 square root of 3 times square root of 3 will be 6 square root of 9. But we know what square root of 9 is. This is 3. So you'll get 6 square root of 33 plus 6 times 3 is 18. And there is no more you can do here. That's it. For 90, guys, you have to expand. Just make it like this and do the expansion. Foil it. And just do the FOIL method to do this one. Rationalize the denominator. How do you rationalize the denominator? If it is just a square root of a number, you multiply the top and the bottom by the same square root of a number here. So rationalizing the denominator means get rid of the radical sign from the denominator. So that should give you square root of 3 times square root of 11 is square root of 33. And square root of 11 times square root of 11, guys, is just 11. And that takes care of it. Let's see if you know how to do 93. 93 is a little bit tricky because it's a cubic root. Okay, what can I multiply the top and the bottom by in order to get rid of the cubic root of 2 and make it a number without radical? Any ideas? It's not going to be a square root. It's going to be a cubic root. But the cubic root of what? Does anyone know here?
Would it be 2?
But a cubic root of 2 times cubic root of 2 will give me cubic root of 4. Cubic root of 4 is not a whole number. You need to multiply by a number so that the cubic root will be a cube, so I can get it out of the cubic root. So 2 will not work. Can you think of another number?
What about 6?
Lower than 6.
Cubic root of 4.
Yes. And let me tell you why cubic root of 4. Because cubic root of 2 times cubic root of 4 is cubic root of 8. And we know what cubic root of 8 is, 2. So that will be, guys, 13 cubic root of 4 divided by cubic root of 8, which is 2. And that has rationalized the denominator. Unlikely that your teacher probably will ask you this. They might ask you this and probably 95. So I'm going to do 95. If you have two terms, something like that in the denominator, you need to rationalize. You multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate, which is 9 plus. So you guys get 5 times 9, 45. 5 times square root of 3 plus 5 square root of 3. And let's do the bottom. You're going to see the bottom is going to be nice. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times square root of 3, it's 9 square root of 3. And this is going to be minus 9 square root of 3. And then finally, minus square root of 3 times square root of 3 will be minus 3. So you guys get 45 plus 5 square root of 3. This and that cancels out. And 81 minus 3 is 78. That's it. 96, solving equations with radicals. Okay, here's how we do that. You can add 5 to both sides. And then you need to get rid of the radical, guys, square both sides. So you get 4x minus 1 is 25. You get 4x equals 26. And then you get x is 26 divided by 4 or 13 over 2. And you should check the answer in the original equation when you have radical equation to make sure it works. So if I put 4 times 13 divided by 2, that will give me 26. Minus 1 is 25. Square root of 25 is 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. So that works. All right. Now for 97, guys, notice it's a cubic root. So in order to get rid of the cubic, you have to raise both sides to the third power. And that should give you 6x on one side and negative 4 to the third on the other side, which is negative 64. And then you solve the equation. So just be careful with that. Right in terms of I, complex numbers. Okay, you know, guys, I squared by definition is negative 1, and square root of negative 1 is I. That's what you need to know for this part now. So if you want to write in terms of I, you just write this one, guys, as square root of negative 1 times square root of 108. Split it up. Now, square root of negative 1 by definition is I, so you'll get I square root of 108. Let's do 101. Square root of -9 with I. So it's going to be square root of -1 times square root of 9. And square root of -10, guys, it's going to be square root of -1 times square root of 10. Square root of -1 by definition is I. So you get I square root of 9. And square root of -1 is I. You get I square root of 10. But I times I is I squared. And I squared is by definition what? -1. So you get -1 times square root of 9 times square root of 10. Square root of 9, you can put it as 3. And that's the answer. How do you add, subtract complex numbers? It's the same thing as you add anything else, combine like terms. So for example, guys, if you're doing 6 plus 6i plus 3 minus 6i, just add the real parts together and add the imaginary parts together. So 6 plus 3 is 9. And 6i minus 6i will be 0. So just 0i or just 9. How do you multiply? Just multiply 8 plus 6i times 8 plus 6i. So that should give you like 64 plus 48i plus 48i. And 6i times 6i is 36i squared. Don't forget that I squared is -1. So you get 64. 48i plus 48i is 96i. And 36 times -1 is -36. So just subtract 64 minus 36 will be what? 28 plus 96i. And actually, if you set up your calculator to calculate to complex mode, you can do all those operations and then you get the answer. The only thing I want to tell you before I move on is when you do division of two complex numbers, you have to multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. So it will be 6 plus 7i and 6 plus 7i. And just do the math and it should work. Use a square root property to solve an equation. For example, 112. How do I solve x plus 2 quantity squared equals 28 using, this is the square root property, guys. Y squared equals a means y equals a plus or minus square root of a. That is what the square root property is. So here, my y is x plus 2. So you can say x plus 2 equals a plus or minus square root of 28. Well, we need to solve for x, so subtract 2 from both sides. So you get x equals -2 plus or minus square root of 28. Now, if you check the answer in the back of the handout, probably you're not going to see 28. Probably they reduced it. So I can reduce this. 4 times 7. So the 4 comes out. So -2 plus or minus 2 square root of 7. Okay. Use the quadratic formula to solve an equation. You need to know the quadratic formula. Here's the quadratic formula, guys. It's -b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. That's the quadratic formula. So, but look, there is a trick here. For 117, you have to move the 7 to the other side before you use the quadratic formula, because you have to have ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So let me just do 118. So x will be -3 plus or minus b squared, which is 9, minus 4ac, guys. 4 times 4 times 6 divided by 2 times 4. X would be -3 plus or minus 9. 4 times 4 is 16, times 6 is 96, divided by 8. X would be -3 plus or minus negative 87 over 8. Now, if your teacher asks you to find the real solution, you tell the teacher there are no real solutions because that's a square root of a negative number, so no solution. But if he says, find the solution, whether real or not real, then this is what you do. For the negative sign, guys, you make it an I and get it outside. So x will be negative 3 plus or minus I square root of 87 over 8. So this equation has imaginary solutions, but no real solution. Okay. If you see an equation like 119, guys, it looks complicated with the fractions. If I were you, just multiply everything by 4 and get rid of the fractions. So if you multiply by 4 here, look what happens. 4x squared divided by 2 will be 2x squared. 4x divided by 4 is 1x. And 4 divided by 2 is 2, negative 2 equal to 0. And look how easy it is now to set it up and solve it. So you don't need to work with the fractions. Let me see. One sec. A rectangular sign must have an area of 29 square yards. Its length must be 6 yards more than the width. So that's 125. So the length is 6 more than the width. And that's the width. And we know area is 29. Find the dimensions. Well, you know length times width equals area, guys. So you get W times W plus 6 equals 29. You get W squared plus 6W minus 29 equal to 0. And I don't think I can factor this one. So you need to use the quadratic formula. Just use the quadratic formula to find W. If you get a negative answer, guys, then you ignore this answer. You only accept the positive answer. So once you find W, you just add 6 to it, and that would be the length. Okay. Here is another question similar to what we did earlier about the rocket hitting the ground. You just need to set up the height equal to 0. But here, this equation is not going to be factored. When we started, it was easy to factor, but now because you know the quadratic equation, you're not going to be able to factor this one. So if you set h equal to 0 here, because striking the ground, you're going to get negative 16t squared plus 280t plus 112 equal to 0, and just use quadratic formula. Just be very careful. Use your calculator if you need to. How would you graph f of x equals x squared plus 5? Well, you know, guys, x squared is graphed like this. That's x squared. X squared plus 5, you move the curve up 5 units, so that will be x squared plus 5. And if you have TI-84, you can use it. I would encourage you to use it. It's very helpful tool. So if you just put x squared plus 5, and here we go. You can see the graph. What is the vertex? This is the vertex right here. The vertex is 0, 5. This has a minimum. The vertex represents a minimum. When the curve, guys, open up like this, this is a minimum. And with an open up down like that, it's a maximum. How can you tell? Very easy to tell if you have a minimum maximum. If a, the coefficient of x squared, is a positive, then it is a minimum. If it is negative, then it is a maximum. The axis of symmetry, guys, is the vertical line that crosses, that cuts the vertex right here, goes through the vertex. So it's always x equals this number, right? Whatever this number here is, that will be the axis of symmetry. So here it is x equal to 0. Let's see, for example, 131, guys, x minus 3 squared. Let me just show you this one. How do you graph this one? I don't know if you did the transformation, but you can either use your calculator to graph this one, plug it into the calculator, or you can do it from x, knowing x squared. This is x squared. X minus 3 squared means you have to move x squared 3 digits to the right. So if I move it 3 digits to the right, it will be right here. Let me just use a different color. And that is f of x equals x minus 3 squared. So the vertex, guys, will be this, which is 3, 0. This is a minimum. And what's the axis of symmetry? As I told you, the axis of symmetry is x equals this number. It's called h. This is called h, and this is k. And the axis of symmetry is x equals h. So that would be x equals 3. All right. Find the vertex of the graph of the quadratic equation. Find any intercepts and graph the function. You can, let me show you on the calculator how we can do that quickly. I'll show you how to find the vertex on the calculator. So -2, I'm just gonna plug it in first. X squared plus 24x minus 70. Okay, you can see the graph. And let me show you how you can find the vertex on the calculator. You go to second. I'm not sure how heavily you use the calculator in your class, but I'm gonna show you this. You go to second, can go always go to YouTube on YouTube and check how you find the vertex using TI-84 calc. Okay, I have a maximum here, as you notice, guys. So just go max. Okay. The calculator is asking me point the cursor to the left of the target. This is my target right there. So I want to make sure that the cursor is on the left. I'll show you the cursor in a second. It's coming. There you go. That's on the left. Press enter. Now the calculator is asking me for a right bound. I'm going to move it to the right. Watch. Enter. And now it's asking me for a guess. You don't have to guess nothing. You just press enter. And look at the vertex. Okay, can you guys guess what the 5.99998 should be? It should be a whole number. What do you think that number is?
6.
6, definitely. So the vertex is 6, 2. It's a maximum. And why is a maximum? Just like I told you before, because the A is negative. When the A is negative, it is a maximum, as you can see here. The A is negative. And the axis of symmetry, guys, is x equals whatever this number here, 6. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. And let me just